This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Oh, we love the Monday night NBL action, and this one has been a little one-sided. Perth hosting Melbourne United. Melbourne have won the past 4 contests here, and head coach John Riley, he said Perth's performance in their most recent home game was, quote, atrocious, so expect the Cats to be fired up. Let's have a look at a same-game multi for this one, and I expect it to be low-scoring or lower scoring, so under 173. Luke Travers, get on the glass with the NBA GM in the house, and Melbourne United to keep it close. Enjoy the game and gamble responsibly.
You know the score. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
And straight away, they go down to Bryce Cotton for an easy bucket. Here's Aquera going to work, getting inside. Oh, my. Here's Tucker with the steal and the slam.
Oh, that's clinical from Melbourne.
Breton Mays. He's heating up John Cain Arena.
He really is.
Here's Manic with a nice touch. Now it's party time. Rajon Tucker. Love his energy.
Here he is, catch and shoot. They're getting around him.
Goldie's going to have to invent something. It's Monday Night Basketball coming to you live from RAC Arena in Perth, of course, for the final game of round 10 of the Hungry Jacks NBL season. And it's Melbourne United coming to town. Of course, they finally broke their 5-game losing streak with a big win Saturday night against the Brisbane Bullets. And they will come to RAC Arena chock full of confidence, having won their last 7 straight at this venue and have beaten the Perth Wildcats 9 of their last 10 times, including the 2 times they've met earlier this season. But the Perth Wildcats themselves, they will be full of confidence coming home. They've won 4 of their last 6, and they're starting to make their move as I welcome in Liam Santamaria, Mitch Creek. Mitch, we take a look at the ladder. Both teams, we know they've had a slow start, but it's important for one of them to try and build some momentum through the middle part of this season.
Yeah, welcome to everyone listening in tonight. But as you say, mate, there is only 2 games separating these 2 teams right now in games played, but 1 win either way for both teams kind of separates them a little bit, but it closes the gap for Melbourne United, so this is a really big game for them.
And Liam, it feels like whenever we do a Perth Wildcats game, it always comes back to one man.
Well, it did on Friday night again, didn't it? Bryce Cotton, the 3-time MVP. He's first in points, he's top 10 in assists, he's 3rd in steals, and he broke Adelaide Hearts on Friday. 14 points in the 4th quarter. He had 18 points in the final 12 minutes. Came up massive in crunch time, of course, finding his teammates, finding his spots, and barking a little bit to the crowd along the way. And that on Antonius Cleveland was an absolute thing of beauty. He will be on top of the whiteboard for Melbourne United to try to stop tonight.
Of course, Melbourne United, we said, had that big win Saturday night. They beat the Brisbane Bullets by 16 points. Shea Ely was back in the lineup. Isaac Humphrey's return. They have their full roster, Mitch Creek, and it's a different-looking side. Can they build off this? And I want to put on the radar, you mentioned this man about 4 weeks ago as being the most important player for Melbourne United, and he's shown us why.
Absolutely, mate. Shea Ely is the most important player for Melbourne United, hands down. He is plus 15 offensive rating as a team. So when he plays, they are plus 15, going from 85 to a 95 average. It's the defense, it's the effort, rebounding, diving on loose balls. It's all the little things he does, not just on the defensive end. He knocks down shots, he gets to the rim, he takes a bit of pressure off XRM and Chris Goulding bringing the ball up. So looking for him to have a big, big impact on this game.
We talk about him at the defensive end so much, but the impact he's had on their offense is massive. There you see the points for and the points against with or without Shea Ely. 95 points a game with him on the floor and just 80 without. And that is a massive difference for Melbourne United.
They are the facts. They've won 3 of 4 when he plays, only 3 of 12 when he doesn't. Well, also part of the commentary team today, live courtside, 4-time NBL champ with the Perth Wildcats, Greg Heyer.
Gentlemen, 7 straight, 9 of 10, or 2019 Game 4. Perth Wildcats beating Melbourne United. I know what's more impressive, but we have a very enticing matchup. Both these teams have a stake of claim to see where they're at this season. Perth Wildcats, you're right, retrain of form, 4 of 6, and Melbourne United are really grasping on to dear life for this season. So I'm excited for what we're about to encounter tonight.
Greg, we spoke before about Shea Ely. He'll go to Bryce Cotton, but for Melbourne United, Chris Goulding. Perth have a bit of a different starting lineup right now with Corey Webster in at the 2 spot. Who goes to Chris Goulding, you think, off the opening tip?
Yeah, excellent point, Liam. I think they go with LT, use a little bit of size and athleticism to bother him. Melbourne United have a tendency to run a lot of horn sets. He wants to get on his left foot, so you're trying to force him off his right foot, but use LT to disrupt his flow, because once he gets his eye in, geez, it's a long night, that's for sure.
Well, let's take a look at the champions, starting 5, starting with the Perth Wildcats, and of course, Corey Webster, game 250, is now into the starting lineup. Mitch?
Absolutely huge career so far from Corey. He's an absolute legend of the game. If you don't know who he is, look up his resume. Multiple championship winner with the New Zealand Breakers. Coming over to Perth, trying to do the same thing, but you're dead right. Him into the starting lineup is dangerous. Travers, the gnarly haircut, is out there. He is back in business. He's got a lot of eyes on this game, so looking for him to have a big one. So it's exciting ahead.
Liam, the champions, starting 5, Melbourne United.
Well, yeah, here we go. Shea Ellie's the point guard. Xavier Rattan-May is going to come off the bench. Marcus Lee playing that aerial hook Porty role as the starting centre. How about Ray John Tucker playing well? Last 6 games, 21 points per game on elite shooting clips.
Both teams looking to continue on that form they showed the other night. Of course, they've already played in round 10. This will cap off what's been another wonderful round of NBL. It is that man, Shea Ellie. The matchup with Bryce Cotton's going to be one we'll keep an eye on. Both ends of the floor. Won their last 7 here at RAC Arena, Melbourne United, and Chris Goulding has been a huge factor in those wins. 6 of 10 the other night from three-point range. Aquera now going to try his luck to get the ball rolling.
It was Corey Webster on that opening possession who went to Chris Goulding. Luke Travers to Ray John Tucker. So everyone guarding their position. See how Webster goes, trying to lock down Goulding, who's coming off a sensational performance, 20 points against Brisbane, 6 of 10 from long range.
And I like this from Melbourne United, putting Tucker on Webster. I think since the other week when the New Zealand Breakers kind of played with fire a little bit with that little slogan they had going on, Corey Webster's been on a tear, so it's great to see that matchup.
And this man, Liam, coming off his best game of the season to Sean Thomas, 22 points and 8 boards against Brisbane. It was much needed because his numbers before that, the previous 6 weeks, averaging just 8.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, but maybe he's just starting to really find his place in this team.
Absolutely, and they're starting to look for him a little more. Season high, that was 22 points. Season high, 14 field goal attempts. So they went to him, they found him. You can play through to Sean Thomas, really good passer, and they looked good with him touching the ball.
Here is Ray John Tucker. Touched on his last 6 weeks. He now leads Melbourne United for points and rebounds. 16 and 6 a game. That time gives the feed to Marcus Lee. Couldn't finish the dunk.
It's 2 big guys going at it, meeting at the rim. But you like that. Both guys, both teams getting in the paint early, trying to finish plays.
Let's go. Let's go. 2 shots.
He'll be disappointed he's not finishing off a 3-point play. Marcus Lee had the 18 points and 6 boards against Brisbane.
He's been a really good addition. They wanted to make the change, move on from Jordan Caroline, and they bring him in, as I said, playing that aerial hook Porty role. Really not replacing Caroline, he's replacing hook Porty. Now they can bring Humphreys off the bench, and he's been in double digits in 4 straight, Marcus Lee.
Big shout out to Hook Porty too. Exciting in the preseason watching him develop and get better. He's still so young. He's got such a bright career ahead of him. So hopefully that Achilles is healing up well and he's in a great frame of mind as well, because it's a horrible injury to see someone have. Going through that in the past as well. But yeah, fingers crossed he's on the mend.
Webster continuing on that mid-range game that's been working so well for him. 24 points he's averaged the last couple of games. He's another one starting to find his feet in this Wildcats lineup as they build into the season. Tucker has been shooting it pretty well. Couldn't get that to fall.
Well, Dean Vickerman's been encouraging him to shoot. He has been shooting well, 46% from long range over his last 6. But Vickerman just wants him to shoot it with confidence. That way you keep the defense honest and he is able to get downhill.
He's shooting at a respectable 36% from 3-point range. Some questions about his shooting early in the season, but he's really hit his groove. Here's Travers. Cotton's first crack at it for the night. And it's nothing but net to get the ball rolling for him.
And the Cotton shenanigans have started already. 1 shot, 1 make.
What another wonderful season he's having, Bryce Cotton. Here's Golding. Well, they might go toe for toe tonight. The two best shooters in the league going at it. Greg High, you're courtside. You got the best seat in the house.
Oh, absolutely, and you can see the Wildcats just have that determined look on their face. But what they're trying to do is actually put Lee in pick-and-roll actions late in their piece. Talking to a few of them that before the game, that was a central focus for them to attack him.
Rajon Tucker sets the tone with his aggression, both ends of the floor. So does this man, Shea Ely. Spoken about him. Tried to feed it to Aquera, but out of bounds. First turnover for United. As we take a look at the Amy replay of just this pure straight from Bryce Cotton.
It's just late in the shot clock type of action. Catch and knock it down, and here Golding, not too dissimilar. Off the bounce, able to get his spot, knock it in.
Who are you taking in a three-point shootout, Liam?
I'm going to take three-point shootout. I think I'd take Golding in a shootout.
Here's Deshaun Thomas, aggressive, good start for him.
I was going to say, in the fourth quarter, I'll take Bryce. But in a three-point competition, off the rack,
yep.
It's a safe bet either way, really. Really splitting hairs.
Here's Ely. Was able to make a few threes the other night. Goes through the basket, couldn't get that to finish. Good start by Perth here, only 6-point lead. John really spoke about starting well, being aggressive early. Sets the tone, and a beautiful feed from Bryce Cotton to Thomas. And that chemistry is building throughout the season.
The big fella's pumped too, look at him. Beautiful play by Bryce Cotton.
Moves really well without the ball. That's, you know, that's simple pick and roll action, roll to the rim. But he slips out of it. No need to lay heavy contact when the lane is open. And an easy finish at the cup. The rotation's not quite there for Melbourne United.
7 quick points for Deshaun Thomas. And we spoke off the top about this man, 3-time NBL champion Corey Webster, playing game 250 tonight. And we spoke to him pre-game.
Yeah, it means everything. I mean, I'm blessed to be doing this at this age still. You know, a lot of people that I grew up with and came up with didn't make it this long, but it's a blessing to wake up every day and still be able to play the game that I love.
The last couple of weeks, rich patch of form, no surprises. You know, for a young kid at home that might be dipped in confidence, what would you say to them?
I mean, the only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. I think that's a real important thing to tell kids. You know, you don't need to be better than anyone else. Just try and be better than the person you were yesterday, for sure.
Turned 34 years young only a couple of weeks ago, Corey Webster. But Mitch, you're liking what you're seeing now from this Perth Wildcats side. At the start of the year, it was all about Bryce Cotton, and he was lacking some support. We've spoken about Brady Manick finding his range, but now as Corey Webster starts to hit the scoreboard to Sean Thomas, they've got a much better spread about this Perth Wildcats offense.
Yeah, and look, even before Deshaun Thomas's roll to the basket, it's just quick and it's an effective straight line cut now out of these pick and rolls. Earlier in the season, watching film, going against them, there was a little bit of that lackluster ability to roll on the rim quickly and aggressively. I think that's changed now. The conditioning's there and the plays are starting to really unfold smoothly.
Well, let's get back to Greg High. You're in the Melbourne United huddle at quarter, the timeout there. What was Dean Vickerman saying to his group? Yeah,
it was obvious. There was a huge emphasis on defensive end, and to stymie that, they wanted Tucker to be guarding Bryce 92 feet of the floor. Let's see if that changes the dynamics of the game as we see a poor foul on Bryce Cotton shooting a three. I think people don't realise that's his specialty.
Xavier Rattan-Mays coming onto the floor, coming off the bench now. You okay with that move, Liam? You like it?
I like it. That's what they signed him, the role they signed him to play. Really as the starter, Rattan-Mays as an offensive spark off the bench, and not just scoring either. You saw the pass on the previous possession, 10 assists the other night, the win over Brisbane. And the chemistry between he and Marcus Lee has the ability to find that lob man on those pick and roll actions. He puts it right on the spot.
Yeah, look, those two playing that deep pick and roll. It was a little under the mistletoe on action. It was just love at first sight. These guys throwing them up. I know against us at South East Melbourne, there was about 3 that were put on our heads. So that chemistry's coming along well. It's great to see Lee come into this team and really start to play.
Tucker couldn't finish. And now Corey Webster looking to be aggressive. Good signs early for the Perth Wildcats.
Great take from Webster. Love an aggressive Corey Webster. And he is full of confidence right now.
He has the 4 points. Bryce Cotton got 6, and Deshaun Thomas got 7. That's all 17 points for the Perth Wildcats as Barlow had a good look. Just can't get it to fall at the moment. Melbourne United, 1 from 5 from long range.
Again, beautiful find from Rattan Mays. That's a 41% career three-point shooter with a wide open look.
And then gets the steal. And the fast break to Tucker this time. Let's get back down to Greg Hire.
Yeah, look, nothing really about the game, but can we please take Mitch Creek's phone off him? Under the mistletoe has nothing to do with the game. I don't know who's texting him. I know you're playing, Mitch.
Yes.
He's all over you, man.
Hey, he obviously follows my social media
He's
account,
all
but
over you.
hey, we've got to keep the fans active. We've got to keep this as an interactive home and family experience. Thank you, Greg.
Marcus Lee will come have a spell. Brad Newley checks in. We quickly established a 9-point lead here at the Wildcats. Had that win against Adelaide Friday night by 8 points. Off the back of Bryce Cotton. Now Norton coming in off the bench. Had a good look. Rattan Mays goes straight at Webster. Lost his footing. There'll be another turnover.
He's left it. Find his way up on his own. Someone should pick that man up.
Yeah, I mean, and he looks for him too. He looks across and says, "Hey guys,
He looks
can I get a
around.
hand up." Oh,
Thanks, fellas.
Nope.
There's a legend. Andrew Vlahov doing the radio call up over there in WA. What an absolute legend of the game in this country.
Jesse Wagstaff into the game as well. Little handoff to Cotton, who's feeling good about himself. 9 points already. 2 of 2 from long range. And that's ominous if you're Melbourne United. Although they do have this man. Good crashing of the boards from Isaac Humphries. That's what they've been after in recent weeks, Melbourne United. And they get it from the big fella. Be aggressive again, the Perth Wildcats. Mitchell. A couple of cracks at it. And now Rattan Mays. When they met in round 5, had the 25 points and 10 rebounds. Hasn't scored as many points as you would like in the last couple of weeks, but as we said, playing a bit of a different role, and that's a 3rd turnover in this first quarter for United. And here's Cotton. And the swat from Humphries is as good as anyone in the league. And again, Madrock has another crack at it, this time peeling fouls.
Well, they worked their way there eventually. That last 3 from Bryce Cotton, big-time scout breakdown. You cannot slip under this screen. You just cannot do that on Bryce Cotton. He just needs a tiny bit of room. You give it to him, and he makes you pay.
He comes to the bench as a little breather. And of course, your chance to win a trip of a lifetime to the US to meet Shaq. How good would that be? Flights, accommodation, spending money all included. Enter now. You see the barcode there.
You met the big fella?
I have not met him in person, no. We had the opportunity to go and watch him, but yeah, I don't know. I could have watched him spin some beats at the club, but it's a big man to get hot and sweaty to in a club.
That went to an interesting place. What would you chat to him about if you had 5 minutes?
You know what? I would actually ask him about who were some of his mentors away from basketball when he was transitioning after, career after sport.
Okay, into Hollywood.
You hear about him and his not just the endorsements he had through his career, but then the business decisions he's made. He's got a share in everything, owns a percentage of everything, he has multiple of everything, and he's created generational wealth for, his future families for the rest of their lives and beyond. So credit to him. It's inspiring, but yeah, it's probably one of the questions I'd ask him.
Michael Harris comes straight on the floor and straight into the action.
Instant impact. That's what you got to do. You're deep on the roster. You get thrown in there late in the quarter. Get after it defensively. Active hands right here. Bang, a little deflection. And he's quick and sneakily athletic. Able to finish through the contact.
It's 4 turnovers already for Melbourne United. And all of a sudden, it's blown out to 14 points. So just got to be careful here, United. Got to stay in touch in this first quarter. to get something going at the offensive end. Rattan Mays will take it upon himself. Points will count. So a chance for a three-point play. That's what they need. We'll get back down to Greg.
Tough bucket there, but you can just see the atmosphere has just risen to another level. These fans, the Red Army fans, haven't had much to cheer about all season, losing a few home games, but you can just see their level of being connected. You see guys talking to JR, players talking to the bench, and that's helping them. Momentum's an incredible thing in this world.
Maybe it's just they've caught a sight of you, Greg, roaming the sidelines. You feeling the love?
Well, not really. I had my double Whopper with cheese, and I'm not looking good, so maybe that's what they're excited about.
Norton again had a good look in the corner. Couldn't get it to fall.
You've got a little bit of Felix Von Hoff vibes going with your Miami Vice suit too, mate. I like the confidence.
He's Newley. This time gets that to fall.
Gave him a little spark off the bench the other night, Brad Newley. He was plus 16 in 13 minutes in that win over Brisbane. Coming in, bringing a little energy.
Had some good looks, United, from long range, so it was good for Newley to get his first points. All of a sudden, it's back within 8 and a chance to get it even closer, although Rattan Mays just trying to do a little bit too much. Another turnover, and then Shea Ili does what he does, gets back on the defensive end.
Huge play from Shea Ili there. The effort play just to run hard, back in transition.
Just absolutely stalked him, didn't he? And a moment of little hesitation there from Norton brought Ili into the play, and he sent it away.
Have that for breakfast, he said.
Done well here the last minute or so, Melbourne United. Newley, Humphreys, Rattan Mays, Peatling and Ili. There is Peatling. Golding checks in and then can't get that to fall. Now here's Cotton. Harris. So Melbourne United, they have got their measure against Perth Wildcats, 9 of the last 10, and beautiful feed from Ili to Humphreys.
It's that man again, just finding guys, playing with patience, misses a few weeks, comes back in and just slots into a nice little healthy routine on the floor.
That's why we said they're 3 from 4 when Shea Ili's played this year, Melbourne United. Crowd not happy with that one. They are into this game. Ajon Tucker put the head down. Called a block.
It's a tough play to officiate. There's the fine from Ili over the top. Little tiny little deflection from Majuk, and that's a bang-bang play right there. Really, really tough one for Michael Harris. Looked like...
Harris!
He almost got position. Whistle went the other way.
Just a little bit proppy too, is Harris. Here's Goldie. He's got the 3 points so far with one long range, make it 2.
He had the rookie in front of him, Joey, and his eyes lit up, licked his lips and said, take a little bit of this.
When it's like that, mate, you may as well, it's just like dropping a cork in the ocean. It's just, that's a layup for Chris.
So good to see the 2 stars, Golding and this man, Bryce Cotton, up and about early. There's Harris showing his athleticism, couldn't get that to fall.
Second contact, Bryce. The second contact is accidental. We have a foul first, and then, but I'm just anticipating the answer, the question you're gonna have. I wasn't gonna answer that. That's fine.
Yeah, ref got in before Bryce Cotton even asked him. Just explaining the foul was called before this accidental straight arm from Chris Golding. Well reffed. So we're down to the final 3 seconds. Can Melbourne United close the gap to Sean Thomas with the rejection? But it was a good finish to the quarter for Melbourne United. They trailed by 14 at one stage. It was 24-10, the last 11 points of that quarter. And they're back within 3 as we see that block to finish. The big men are up and about. The shooting guards are on fire. And both teams playing for keeps to stay in touch with the top 4 and the top 6. Looking forward to this one. More after this. Quarter time, RAC Arena here, Monday night basketball to finish round 10. The Perth Wildcats, they got the jump. They led 24-10 at one stage, but a strong finish to that first quarter saw United get within 3 points. Liam Santa Maria, Mitch Creek, how'd you see the first quarter?
Yeah, big time finish for Melbourne United. 11 straight points, marched their way back into the game. As you say, after getting down by 14. A couple of 3 balls from Bryce Cotton, a couple of 3 balls from Chris Golding in that opening term, and it's a one-possession game.
Here's Thomas again looking to be aggressive. Just couldn't get that one to fall. 7 points for him in that opening quarter, coming off his career-high 22. Friday night, Rajon Tucker fires away. Yet to score, he's got the 2 points tonight. Greg Hire, what did you make at quarter time?
Yeah, Vickman was preaching pace, 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 and he really wanted him to encourage their transaction there. And what they wanted to try and do was the horns action, horns ups, horns rips, which what that does is gives Rajon Tucker a dribble weave action, and they ended up with a Golding 3, and that's what they're living with and got him back into the game.
It's not surprising, Liam, that Dean Vickerman wants a bit more pace in the game. Melbourne 4 times this year have scored 100 points. 4 and zip, obviously they win every time. They can score.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And that's where you can, Rajon Tucker wants to live in that world where you're pushing the tempo and he can get his knuckles on the backboard. And Chris Golding wants to live in that world. He can step into some trail threes when you lose focus on him in transition. So for sure, get a little pace into it and get nothing early and get through some action.
Need to be careful this second quarter. Melbourne United, Perth Wildcats are the #1 second quarter scoring side in the competition. Melbourne 9th. So got to be careful. Golding unusually misses a free throw.
The burgers on the line.
You wouldn't have thought it'd be Chris Golding that would give away the burgers.
They should give away whoppers if Chris or Bryce.
Yeah, Chris or Bryce.
Yeah, if either of those guys miss 2, it's whoppers for everyone.
He makes 2 of 3. We're back to within 1 point. So consistent. Chris Golding again averaging the 15.5 points this season. Had 20 the other night. Those 6 threes. He's got 8 already in this one. There's Webster. Just doesn't get that to fall.
Again, dodged the bullet there. Here is Rajon Tucker in transition. Athletic, good contest from Luke Travers. Melbourne United get it back. Down that other end. Dodged a little bullet. No, a little cheat. Trying to slip that action from Rajon Tucker, and Corey Webster got an open look on the arc.
There is Luke Travers, who we did think was going to have a big game. We believe the Cavs GM, Mike Yancey, was going to be in town, but he's not here. The plane was delayed, so he'll be arriving in Perth to keep an eye on Luke Travers next week. Of course, you look at Travers' numbers. He started the season, the first 6 weeks, averaged the 12.5 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, but his last 8 games, it's the 5 points, couple of assists, 4.5 rebounds. Humphries doesn't like the call, but Thomas, again, being aggressive, will get to the free throw line.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a difficult time, Luke Travers, this season. Just finding his comfort zone, finding exactly where he fits amongst this team. After getting drafted last season. Previously, he knew I was coming in off the bench and I just needed to be active, get my hands on the ball, be in passing lanes, grab defensive rebounds, push the rock. And you get the sense he's overthinking it a little. Well, maybe I need to be this or I need to be that. Actually, he just needs to do what he's always done, ramp it up to another level.
I think the previous years of Luke, he's excelled in just being an extremely good athlete that makes the right play at the right time. And now that there's that little bit of extra pressure, has just kind of come on top of that with the NBA. I think you're right. I think he's overthinking a little bit. I think he needs to get back to the basics, push the ball in transition, head on the rim, crash the O-glass, make plays, and just go out and shoot that ball confidently. If he does that, he's going to be a nightmare to guard.
First pick 56 in the NBA draft to the Cleveland Cavs. And there he is. He's got to be able to knock down some of these shots. Wide open. Just rims out. The scoring's really dried up for the Perth Wildcats. It's been a 15-1 run in favour of United. Illy attacks the rim, draws the foul.
Really good take from Illy. Sees the lane, heads on a swivel. Do I have the pass? And then he gets in attack mode, establishes body contact with the shot blocker, finishes through the contact.
First game back on Saturday night. Shaylee had the 15 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. As we showed off the top, 3 wins, 1 loss when he's played, 3 wins and 9 losses when he hasn't played this season. Some players that just make everything click.
Well, the thing that I thought looked terrific for Melbourne the other night was the ball movement. 27 assists. They had a season high. It resulted in 104 points. Had a season high of 58% from the field. And look, is that all Shaylee? No, not really. But he sets a tone early doors of finding guys in their comfort spots, moving the ball, getting everybody involved.
Shaylee will take a seat. XRM will come into the ball game. John Riley, I believe, just got a behaviour warning. He's had a few of them this season. Webster fading away, gets it to fall. He's been automatic the last couple of weeks from mid-range. United still lead by a point. Tucker again being aggressive.
Gee, that's a hell of a move, isn't it? That's what he's great at right there. Just attacking, getting downhill, using his size and his strength. He's had a really good stretch of form the last month, and I think he is the guy for them. He's the energy guy. We've seen it day in, day out, but when he's going, Melbourne are really tough to stop.
These last 6 weeks have been enormous. That could have been a goaltend against Lee. Gets back to Cotton, couldn't get the fall. And here goes Tucker again, this time as Golding. Cherry picking for an easy couple.
Gee whiz, timeout Perth. Goodness me, 22-3 it's been, and that is just way too easy. Luke Travers, he just bodied you out of the way as he spun and finished above the rim. They were up 14, 24-10, and now down 5, John Riley with plenty to ponder and talk about.
He'll be disappointed with what he's seen since halfway through that first quarter. Chris Golding's up to 12 points. Rajon Tucker getting to the rim. The Perth Wildcats just struggling to score at the moment. So pre-game, we also caught up with Marcus Lee on just finding his groove in this Melbourne United lineup.
Finding it pretty good. My team's really good at kind of including me and getting me in to figure out all the plays and everything as a team really quickly. We've bonded real quick. It's good to have a lot of players that I've already been with. And they really just invited me, and we've kind of just started off running and trying to get into a good groove as a team, and we've started to hit that right now.
He's done well to adjust, hasn't he, Mitch Creek? The Marcus Lee come in pretty seamlessly, had to obviously just quiet his first game, but really he's been able to attack the rebounds and get the points in his next 4 games.
And that's all he has to do. He's so long, he's athletic, he's got a high IQ team around him. I think his biggest thing right now is just understanding the depth of his coverage, knowing who's going to go and take that little mid-range shot, understanding that teams are going to not really take that. They're more on the rim or 3-pointers, but I think at the offensive end, he's been very solid, finishing around the rim, second chance points, hands on these loose balls. He's been really tough out there.
Greg High, what did John Riley say to his troops in that timeout?
Yeah, a little bit of attention to detail there. As much as how talented Rajon Tucker is, they're closing him out like he's a shooter and then not gapping him. So they need to give him a little bit of space. He's explosive. He's one of the best athletes I've ever seen, and I've seen myself play a lot. So, look, I think it's a big thing for them just to get back to the basics, just like you guys were encouraging before.
Yeah, 22-3 run for Melbourne United. It's 24-10 midway through that first quarter. Here's Rattan Mays. Plenty of time with the ball in hand. Goes to Tucker, who again wants to be aggressive and will take a little jumper, couldn't get it to fall. And here's Golding again. Just leaves that short. It's going to be against Rajon Tucker.
59!
Certainly seen intent, though, for Melbourne United to crash the boards, too, particularly offensively.
Oh, no doubt about it. And there from Rajon Tucker, he's got the smaller Corey Webster there next to him. Doesn't need to foul. Just body him up and rise up above. But that was Corey Webster defensively doing exactly what John really asked for. Greg Hyatt told us, gap him on those closeouts. So good defense there from Webster. forced the contested fadeaway.
When in doubt, go to Bryce Cotton.
There's that man again, just finding his rhythm. He's one of those guys that no matter what happens in the game, he could be 0-10. He's so dangerous that you have to respect him. You can't take one possession off. If you do, that's exactly what happens, and he needs one shot just to turn this game on its heels.
Here's Golding again. Team Vickerman wants him to take at least 10 three-point attempts a game, get him going. He's already at 6. There's going to be another foul under the rim.
Not enough sports, just a foul. Okay. Red 8! Hold!
So we've spoken a lot about the Perth Wildcats rebounding all season, Liam, and again, they're getting out-rebounded by 8 already. We've already played a quarter and a half.
They're getting belted on the glass. 14-6. They are last in the league in defensive rebounding percentage. And it's showing up here. They've given up 5 offensive rebounds already.
Tom Mays trying to draw the foul. And now Perth might try and play a little bit up-tempo. Cotton to Webster. Wide open. And he's been doing that for years. Corey Webster in game 250. He's got another one. And more importantly, ties up the scores.
That is a dangerous combination. They've got the 3-guard line up on the floor right now. Norton, Cotton and Webster.
Tan Mays. That's the little floater. 5 points for him. Said failed to reach double digits in his last couple of games after being the team's leading scorer. Still doing some nice things, dishing the ball off to teammates, but I'm sure Melbourne United would love him scoring as there's Cotton with that step back. Leaves that one short. Goes and mops up his own mess.
Just stays with the play. There's never no quit, ever, in Bryce Cotton. And there, just the lucky roll. It came off his teammate's foot. There's the fine to Corey Webster. That is a tough duo to guard. Cannot come off Corey Webster. And here, Cotton just wins it back, rises up, knocks it in.
A good little response from the Perth Wildcats after they were challenged, and there's Jesse Wagstaff in the middle of that huddle. He'll be our feature at half-time, and here's just a little tease on the 6-time NBL champ.
You know, these 14 years have just flown by. One part of me feels like it was just yesterday, and the other part, it feels like a lifetime ago. I remember coming in, and you know, I remember Shawnee had 1 kid at the time, and I thought he was the oldest man alive. And now I've got 3, and the younger guys must look at me and think this guy's pretty old.
Can you relate, Mitch, or not quite yet?
Waggers, mate, we are not ornaments on a shelf, mate. We are not elf on a shelf. We are none of those things. We will never be put away. We are never too old, mate. I am starting to feel the pinch a little bit being the 3-0, but look, when you start to have kids, I don't have them just yet, and you're seeing these young guys run around, you do look around and you go, well, I'm not as fast as these guys are anymore, but what he does have is an absolute wealth of knowledge and intent and willingness to play every single possession, and he just wedges in the wrong position, and then it's pick and pop 3. And the wisdom of Wagstaff out there is going to just flourish throughout that group, so they're going to be just fine. He's going to be just fine as well.
You know what else he has, Creek? He's got a top drawer in that bedside table that has 6 championship rings inside. Oh, yeah, 6 of them.
Yeah, they beat us in a few finals too, so it's look, it's a stellar career from him. He's not done yet. He's got so much of the knowledge, so much knowledge of the game to give to so many people. And even myself now, you just want to see the young guys come through and you just want to help them. Doesn't matter who they are, where they're from. I've reached out to players from other teams that we currently play against and said, hey, in the off season, let's get together for a week, 2 weeks. Let's, teach each other some new things. They'll have things that I don't know yet from this new age of basketball, and I'm sure he's the same, helping a lot of the young guys.
Greg High, former teammate of Jesse Wagstaff.
You speak about 6 championship rings. He's also got 6 Rolexes, because every time he wins a championship, he also gets a degree. He's got an MBA, an engineering course, a traffic management degree. He is the most unique individual that you will know.
Greg, am I right in saying that he once gave you and some of the other fellas homemade board games for Christmas?
That is completely right, mate. He actually has an ABN, and what he does like to do in his pastime is assemble IKEA furniture. And so literally, to get tax reimbursements, he did that. So he's one unique man, that's for sure.
There you go, he can do everything. MBAs, championships, and can assemble IKEA packs.
Christmas is around the corner. Can you make me a plum pudding for Christmas, you reckon?
No jingle bells. There's Rattan Mays now, starting to get hot. He's got 8 points. Lead by 5, United. Another turnover. Here's Bryce Cotton, he'll pull up in transition. Bang!
Well, that's money for jam for Bryce Cotton. Those live ball turnovers, the Wildcats know exactly where to get the ball. And he just strides himself into a wide open 3.
16 points at 70%. As again, the lob play for Marcus Lee. Really found his groove, as he spoke about earlier.
That's the chemistry he's talking about. Fellas there at Melbourne United, Rattan Mays, Shayili, quickly realised, throw that thing up and he'll go get it.
This is not looking good for Manik. He's holding his shoulder. The last thing you want to see is an injury. I know a little bit of dystrophin in the body will help him kind of recover from something like this, but that's an absolute stinger and something you do not want at this time of the game.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be okay and be able to take his place back out there. Just sometimes looks innocuous, but you're right, those stingers can certainly hurt, as Humphries again protecting the rim.
He had a massive game last time he was here, Isaac Humphries. 17 points, 10 rebounds, but he had the 4 blocks. He's had 2 of those already here in this first half. Wildcats attacking the rim and Humphries sending him away.
To go with his 6 boards and 4 points. Just a couple of minutes to go in this first half. It's been a great effort by Melbourne United. Perth. Good feed. Norton again. That's his 3rd attempt from the corner. He's missed all 3. Now Ely will pull it out. They'll get through their set, Melbourne United. Chris Golding's got the 12 points. Can he make it 15? Can't on that occasion. Greg, you got an update on Brady Manning?
Yeah, I'm definitely no doctor, but that stinger might be a little bit worse. We're always trying to get it into changes before half-time, but he's heading there right now.
We'll get an update on him after the half-time break. Just over a minute 20 to go. And a good quarter for Melbourne United. We spoke about second quarters, usually Perth's domain, best second quarter team in the competition. And Mitch Norton's given away a foul.
That's a second personal on Norton. A couple of guys in foul trouble. So Sean Thomas, he's cooling his jets on the bench with 2 right now. And there's the new owner. Hutchie's in the house.
Some big minutes right now if you're Perth. You know, you've had control of this game early on. Melbourne kind of come in. Chris has really found some form. Tucker early. You know, Lee's getting on the rim. Isaac's come in to bring a little bit of that energy in Aquera. This is real crunch time for Perth. They've got to go into this half-time and take back a little bit of this control.
And usually they're only 3 and 4 at home this season. Usually such a difficult place for teams to play. As I said, not for Melbourne United. They've won their last 7 here. So they feel good about coming to this venue. And they now lead by 5 after trailing by 14 in the first quarter. They'll keep possession.
They should get a reset here, you would think, the Wildcats. It did touch the rim, and there it is. 14 on the shot clock to work with for the Cats.
We've got 14 seconds, ladies.
It's Perth 7-7. 6th on the ladder. Cotton's already got 16. Quera to Tucker. Now Shayili barking instructions. They'll be looking for Golding. Humphries with a nice spin move and a chance for a 3-point play.
There he is. He's come in. He said, you know what, I'm putting my head down. You can't guard me. The spin, the bump, the foul, the finish. Great play.
Isaac Humphries, 6 points, 6 boards and a couple of blocks. He's doing his bit. Of course, this season, we know with thanks to Latrobe Financial giving away the guaranteed $50,000. Just enter now at nbl.com.au/legends for your chance to win. Plenty of entries to get through. Still plenty more to come. Just make a half-court shot, send it in. There's Cotton with his own spin move. Up to 18 points. Just continuing to do what he always does.
He said, Isaac Humphries, whatever you can do on a spin move, I can do better.
They finish with some real momentum here, United. Golding's going to have to take the final shot. Lets it fly. Can't get it to finish. But an excellent second term for Melbourne United. They trailed by 3 points at quarter time. They now lead by 6. And as we said, after breaking that 5-game losing streak with the win, they will be very confident at half-time as we take a look at that Amy replay. Bryce Cotton, 18 points for him at one end. Chris Golding with the 12 at the other. So the two superstars are going at it. And it's a great contest on our hands. Looking forward to this one. And I think our man, Greg Hyatt, does have that man, Chris Golding, with him.
Yeah, Chris Golding, 12 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, sorry. He was exceptional. Talk to me about that first half. He really stymied their flow.
Yeah, they came out well. We were really poor defensively, passive, got screened, let the big fella get going early. You have to commit to that. Bryce gets going. That's what you don't want. But, you know, we brought some subs in. Guys did a great job of stemming that tide. Started making a couple shots. Good to have a lead. We feel like it could probably be more. We need to fix some things.
Looks like your intent on the offensive glass is through the roof. Strong in that regard?
Yeah, added focus. You know, the kick-out threes or the putbacks that come as a result of that. We feel like we haven't been getting enough. Got some serious athletes as well, so get them to the rim, see if they can come up with something. Maybe barge a few people over like you used to do.
Well, good luck, mate, in the second half. You're playing a hell of a game. Well done.
Chris Golding there, 12 points at half-time. A little clip to Greg Hyatt too, which I like. But we spoke about Jesse Wagstaff during that quarter, and we caught up with him to find out more about the 6-time NBL champion.
And the unthinkable has happened. Perth Wildcats missed the finals after 35 seasons of finals action.
Last year was interesting, the way we had to play. I think we figured it out too late, to be honest. We were close, but close isn't good enough. I took some time off after last season. It was really good. It had been a tough 2 years. We were on the road for a considerable amount of time, and I have 3 young kids at home and a wife from the States. So it was just nice to really switch off for a month, 2 months, and be a dad. You know, drop the kids off at school and kind of put basketball on the back burner.
Wagstaff rolls to the basket. Just smart.
You know, these 14 years have just flown by. One part of me feels like it was just yesterday, and the other part, it feels like a lifetime ago. I remember coming in and, you know, I remember Shawnee had 1 kid at the time, and I thought he was the oldest man alive. And now I've got 3, and the younger guys must look at me and think this guy's pretty old.
There's a chance for Wagstaff. Heat up, Jesse.
Just continuing to age like a fine wine.
Com Games 3x3 stuff was really refreshing, actually, to represent your country and wear the green and gold, especially at a stage like the Com Games. It's hard to pass up.
Wagstaff going to his right hand. Almost unstoppable for England.
I still feel good. I feel like I can contribute. At the end of the day, it's a pretty good job. You know, you get to go to work with a bunch of mates and play basketball.
A great job by Jesse here. I've seen Jesse, he's done it across his career.
At the end of the day, the goal with any season is to win a championship. You know, I think any team that's not their goal is fooling themselves. Everyone wants to win a championship, everyone wants to make playoffs, everyone wants to be as successful as possible. So it's always the end goal.
Wagstaff for 3. You know what you're going to get from Jesse.
Half-time here at RAC Arena, and it's the Melbourne United leading the Perth Wildcats by 6 points. You know they've got a great record, Melbourne United. They've won their past 7 here at this venue, and again, they're enjoying their time. After trailing by 24-10 at one stage, they outscored Melbourne United by 20 points since halfway through that first quarter. Despite that, efforts of Bryce Cotton, who's got the 18 points, Rajon Tucker, Rattan Mays, Chris Golding are all getting in on the act. And Melbourne United are continuing on their form from their win against Brisbane a few nights ago. As I bring in Greg Heyer. Greg, you've been courtside. It looks as if after that fast start from Perth Wildcats, Melbourne United have just had a bit more intensity at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and I think that was headhunted by Shea Ili. He really turned the game, his impact on the offensive glass. Like, he's a proven game winner, not even a game winner, he's a championship winner, and he's had his identity all over that. Extra possessions, not only that, it got the others involved, and I think you've got to credit the turnaround to Shea Ili.
Of course, see the rebound count there in favour of Melbourne United. Well, let's get more and find out what's going on in this game. Let's get to the analyser with Liam Santamaria and Mitch Creek.
Well, we're going to talk about Tashawn Thomas. Had the 22 points the other night against Adelaide, and they looked really good with him getting the ball. And they looked good with him getting the ball at the start of this game, the Wildcats, up 24-10. What were they doing? They were putting him in ball screen coverages.
So the big thing here for Perth is just understanding your weak side help. So you've got Shea Ili and you've got Marcus Lee here. And as we go to play this, we're going to see that the weak side should be coming in just for a little stunt and help, but you've got to get back to Bryce. So as this play unfolds, you're going to see Sean Thomas roll straight down the middle. You can't help off Bryce. That's an easy lay-in.
And the other thing he does to Sean Thomas, he slaps on early screens in transition. The drag screen here for Bryce Cotton, but you love the way here, Creaky, he flips this screen.
He does. He starts in the middle. He flips it to this sideline, understanding he's now going to roll down the middle. You have a non-shooter here in Luke Travers. So this is Mr. Chris Kringle, Chris Goulding. He's got to be the guy that's got to come in and tag that roller. If he doesn't do that, it doubles down on the Warriors, a little exacerbating, and it hurts Melbourne United. So as you see, rolls down, no tag, once again, easy finish.
So a little bit more of this for the Wildcats to start this third quarter would be good. Get Tashawn Thomas involved, take the pressure off Bryce Cotton, and get the offense ticking over.
He had the 8 points for Tashawn Thomas at half-time. He had 7 at quarter-time, though. He wasn't really able to get rolling, as the boys just spoke about, in that second term. So the Perth Wildcats, they need to come out fighting. They need to find a way to respond because they are still wanting to finish in that top 4 and give themselves every chance. Melbourne United, they still believe that they can get to the postseason. And, of course, we know with thanks to Latrobe Financial, you can win a guaranteed $50,000. All you got to do is mentor some vision of you making a half-court shot. You can do it indoors, outdoors, any way you like. The more creative, the better. But $50,000 guaranteed. Stick with us after this. Big second half to come from RAC Arena. Plenty on the line. It's Melbourne United leading the Wildcats by 6 points. Half-time RAC Arena, the half-time entertainment always on display. Good crowd again on a Monday night, enjoying this one. There's big Sean Darcy from the Fremantle Dockers with Heath Chapman having a bit of fun out on court with the kids. Great to see, and I'm sure they're enjoying what they're seeing. And this man in particular, they'll be loving watching Bryce Cotton. 18 points at half-time, coming off 32 points Friday night against the Adelaide 36ers. Liam, should we be potentially talking about this guy in MVP conversations? I know this man in between us is right up there, but when you look at his numbers, at this season, it's his second highest scoring season, first highest for rebounds, his highest steals, and third in assists for his career, for a bloke that's already won 3 MVPs.
He's an MVP candidate year in, year out. Lock it in. No doubt about it. He hasn't been a part of those conversations recently, you're right, but that's because the team hasn't really been putting the wins on the board. So if he can help them to march up the standings and, you know, get above 500, get in that top 4 sort of picture, then he'll be in that conversation. But you're right, first in points, above our man here, Creaky, and top 10 in assists, third in steals. He just continues to get it done night in, night out.
Yeah, remarkable, averaging just a tick under 23 points a game, which is the second highest of his career. Over 4.5 boards. He's doing everything, and Chris Golding is doing everything he can to help his team get this win. 14 points for him. He's come out happy to shoot. 5 of 11 from the field. And I'll go straight to the big man, Thomas. Manic wants to get in on the act, and that's good for him.
Shoulder feels good. Shoulder feel good.
That's big for Manic. After, right, the shoulder hit in that second quarter, in the quiet night against Adelaide, 2 points, 1 of 5 from the field. Missed his first couple of looks. He knocks that down, and there's the response from Melbourne United.
Shea Illy, 7 points. Such an important player. Showing it again, both ends of the floor. Here he is trying to guard Bryce Cotton. Good feed to Manic. Disappointed with that one. Big third quarter for Perth. They trail by 8. Melbourne feeling good about themselves. They're moving the ball well. And again, a good look in the big Isaac Humphries.
Just good positioning from Isaac as well. Just understanding the double team's coming. You see him creep into that little block area and just step in for an easy lay-in. And that man, Bryce Cotton, just continues to play at such a high level. And every single scouting report, every single team, there's one name in big letters. And somehow he still goes out and just gets the job done. It's amazing to watch.
He just makes great reads, Bryce Cotton. He's come off these drops coverage here on this pick and roll with Isaac Humphries. And watch him read. He's reading where the defender is. Do I have to Sean Thomas? No, I've got the floater. So he puts it up, beautiful touch, and takes his tally to 20.
What he has been doing tonight, he's shooting at 70%. He's been getting his points, but he's been shooting under 40% the last 4 or 6 weeks. He's been highly efficient tonight, and it'd be good to see Travers, if he can get going as well on the offensive end, just his first 2 points of the night.
And only 2 field goal attempts for Luke tonight so far. You want to see him be aggressive. We talked about earlier his development and playing a little more free and back to his old school ways of just run and gun, get on the rim, offensive rebounds, shooting the ball at will when he's open. He's just got to keep being aggressive.
Illy creating the look for Golding from the corner. Hand in the face, couldn't get that to drop.
Another offensive rebound. That's 7 offensive rebounds for Melbourne United to only 9 defensive rebounds for the Wildcats. So almost 50% of available rebounds at their offensive end, Melbourne are grabbing.
Been a big focus of United. As Deshaun Thomas gets the feed from Travers.
And that man, hard, direct rolls. Keep rolling, big fella. Every time he rolls, something good happens for this team. Luke Travers, could be a simple drops coverage there. Isaac staying home. You could shoot the gap and get back under, but that's obviously a miscommunication. But going strong towards the ring, finishing with 2 hands. The M1, Deshaun Thomas, direct rolls, mate. You are an absolute king.
Timeout being called. Before the game, we spoke to Xavier Rattan-Mays, during the week it was, in fact, just to talk about his self-reflection after a quiet performance against the Illawarra Hawks and what his mindset was coming into the weekend.
The other night in Illawarra, had a bad game. 2 for 14 from the field, don't play well. After the game, I'm just disappointed, you know. Man, like, how could you play like that, you know? And the next morning I wake up and I go and I put on the TV and I'm watching Steph play. And Steph goes 3 for 17 from the field, 2 for 10, or 2 for 11 from 3. It was almost as if God is like, you know, like, it's okay, you're human. You know, you're gonna have games like this, and yes, you can be down on things, and yes, you're gonna have times that don't go the way you want them to, but it's the way that you bounce back. You know, it's the ability to leave it in the past.
Beautiful words. I mean, you can't get any more of a clearer insight into an athlete's mind at time than that. He's a star player of this league. He's been a star player around the world. He's got probably one of the biggest skill sets in the league, and he has a poor game. He goes home, reviews himself, and says, that's not good enough. He's a harsh critic on himself, as we all can be at times. But the biggest thing is he wakes up the next day and he goes, you know what? I've seen someone else who's at the absolute top of their game go worse for me than I am in shooting, who's a better scorer and shooter all-round player, but it's okay, you're human. We are all human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to miss shots. We're going to kick the ball out of the stands. You're going to dive into the lady in the first row and get wine spilled all over you and make a goose of yourself. But it's the thing about just trusting the work you've put in, understanding we're playing a game in front of friends and family and loved ones. We're competing against friend and foe. And we have to enjoy it while we can, because this isn't going to last forever. And I think X summed it up perfectly.
Greg Hire, get down you courtside. You're in the huddle.
Yeah, there was a strong focus from John really talking, well, to put it bluntly, step on their throats. They have the momentum, and I feel like they let them back in the game. And I think a huge reason of their success is Luke Travers' drive there, an assist, a deflection. He's keeping it simple. If I was him, during the week, I'm watching Mitch Creek and Xavier Cooks. See how they get it done. That's how he should be playing.
There he is trying to attack the offensive board, and he's going to keep possession for his team.
And it's those kind of plays. That's a Mitch Creek, Xavier Cooks type of play where you just don't give up on it. Attack the offensive glass with reckless abandon, get your hands on balls and have an impact.
Foul called off the ball.
Talking about you like you're not right sitting here right next to me.
I'm right here, mate. Thanks. You let us say these nice things off air as well. You don't have to pretend for the public.
Thomas.
Oh, big defensive play.
Humphries it was, and then he runs the floor. But Tucker doesn't need him. He goes it alone. And when he puts the head down and attacks, he's so hard to stop.
That's a momentum play for Melbourne United. Isaac Humphries doing what he does best, protecting the rim. 2 hands.
Is that a foul though, boys? Crowd believe it's a foul?
Nah, it's not a foul. Play on. And then sparking transition. Rajon Tucker, a nightmare as he puts the Jets on and gets to the rim.
Bully ball in transition. Tucker's just too hard to defend. But Isaac Humphries leading the league over the last couple of years in blocks, I'm pretty sure, and just showing what he's all about right there.
Missed the free throw, Rajon Tucker. As you mentioned earlier, Liam, his last 6 weeks, over 20 points a game, 21 points a game. Now leads Melbourne United points and rebounds. Sean Thomas looks to be aggressive, can't get that to fall.
Got away with one there, Rajon Tucker, checking Bryce Cotton off the ball.
United look to push the pace. Ratan Mays going to get an offensive foul call. Little hook on Bryce Cotton.
That's a 4th turnover for Ratan Mays. Just keep an eye there. Just the left arm getting caught up with Bryce. It wasn't a full kind of push-off extension.
Yeah, that wasn't the Josh Childress to Wag stuff a few years ago.
No, not quite.
Shout out Childress.
Here's Webster. He's been making those mid-range automatic the last 3 games.
Mr. 250 just coming up. Play after play tonight. Keep getting the ball through his hands. They're not going to help off Bryce. Thomas rolling hard. And then you got Wagstaff who can stretch the floor as well. He's a great option for Perth to keep going to.
Ratan Mays gets it again to Tucker. He wants to attack. Goes one way, back the other. Another offensive rebound. Peatling this time. And there's the kick out that Golding was talking about at half-time. Second chance points. And they're making Perth Wildcats pay.
Big time play from Mason Peatling. All the eyes are on Rajon Tucker, so he slips in front, gets the offensive board. And here it is on the Amy replay. That's big time play. He gets one rebound in the box score, but really those points could, amongst the team, be credited to Peatling, because that is an effort and energy play to set up a shooter on the arc.
And all of a sudden, as we said, Return Mays, his last couple of games, hasn't been filling the stat sheet. He's up to 11 points now, 80% shooting. A couple of assists, a couple of rebounds. Here he is again. Here's Golding, showing some party moves, and then the good little handoff to Peatling. Bit of showtime.
And that's just it. You get an offensive rebound, you give a little to your teammate, come back down the other end, he gives a little bit back to you. That's beautiful work from Melbourne United.
Back out to a game-high 8-point lead for Melbourne United. Here's Wagstaff. He couldn't get that to go. And you can hear Vickerman screaming, pace. He wants Melbourne to continue to be aggressive here. They feel they've got Perth right where they want him. It's not going to help. It's another turnover to Return Mays. We'll quickly get down to Greg Hire.
Yeah, tendency that we see with Bryce Connor when he explodes in the first half is he starts slowing down that second half, and it's starting to get harder for him. You're seeing in these taxing plays, even the impact that Return Mays is having on him, making everything tough. I think he scored 2 points this half-time, so I think it's something to watch here.
Yeah, it's a good point, Mitch Craig. How important is it to try and be physical on Bryce Connor? We know how quick he is, and he can run all day, but he's not the biggest unit out there. Do you try and be physical and just take a little bit, sap a bit more energy out of him?
I mean, you can try to. I think everyone's tried everything. We haven't tried hitting him over the head with a bat at quarter time yet. We might try that next time we face him, but I don't know if that's going to work either. He's the kind of guy that you can't give him an inch to, and sometimes it's almost like if everyone else gives you 20 and Bryce doesn't score, you can almost sleep at night. But sometimes you have to also say, look, Bryce can have 40, but no one else can have anything easy. They can't have O-boards. They can't have second chance points. They can't win anything else except Bryce. So it's a double-edged sword. You're living very dangerously on the edge, but yeah, he's the kind of guy, no matter what you do, mate, it's almost impossible to shut him down.
A mad scramble on the floor there. Players everywhere. And it's going to be Golding again, getting to the other end of the floor. He's helping himself to a night. 18 points now for Chris Golding.
Yeah, great. Again, Mason Peatling, beautifully floated pass over the top. He's the one. Look, there's all kinds of players on the floor. It turns into a rugby scrum, and then Peatling grabs that one right there, looks up, and that was weighted perfectly for Chris Golding in stride at the rim.
And the follow-through on the pass, too. Beautiful.
Mason Peatling having some important minutes on the floor here. And now Melbourne United out to their biggest lead, 12 points. And another turnover, and a bit of sloppy few minutes here for the Perth Wildcats.
It was a funky group that they've got on the floor. This is an all-second unit. And you've got no Cotton, no Webster, no Thomas, no Brady Manick, all your offensive weapons on the bench. Now, you look at a guy like Todd Blanchfield and say, hey, maybe we can run some stuff for him, get him going. But, geez, he's been really quiet this season. Lowest scoring average since 2011 for Todd Blanchfield. And he's brought Webster, Cotton, and Thomas back out on the floor to find some offense.
He didn't keep them off for long. They need to get out there. Here's Illy trying to work on Bryce Cotton. Another offensive rebound. Marcus Lee, and again the kick out. Return Mays thought about it. Now you'll get a chance. And again, the offensive board from Lee, the putback.
Those second chance points, you talked about it before, Liam, just understanding how big these second chances are for United right now. Every time it seems like they're getting a score on these possessions, and that's where this gap is starting to breach its way out to that 15-point mark.
We know they're last in the league for rebounds, Perth Wildcats at the moment, 17 to 32 rebound count. Almost double Melbourne United over the Perth Wildcats. 10 offensive boards for Melbourne United, 10 defensive boards as Return Mays lets it fly.
Yeah, they are winning it back again. So you got to look at the rebounding percentage. It's 50%. Melbourne United offensive rebounding percentage right now, just dominating the Wildcats on the board. They still, Perth, have not won a rebounding count this season. They've tied a couple, lost the rest, and it is burning them in this one tonight.
It comes back to every player just taking that kind of on the chin and saying, I'm not going to let this be the reason why we lose. We need to control the game in certain areas. It's going to be tough for Bryce to kind of have, you know, these kind of big scoring nights, and it's going to get frustrating when you're giving up second chance points, you're giving up offensive rebounding, second chance putbacks. These things really, really do hurt your confidence as a team. And as you said before, Toddy Blanchfield struggled a little bit as we get Wagstaff. Come on, big fella, get up.
There's a veteran play by Wagstaff. They needed that. I was about to say it's going to be an important last minute and a half of this third quarter.
Do you think he thought about it? No. At any point?
I mean, he's got enough degrees, I think, what Greg said before, so he probably did think about it. But
probably thought about a few things.
Inside a minute now. Here's Illy. Thought about it once, went the second time. Overshot the pass quickly. Greg Higher.
He definitely did not think about it. I closed my eyes and hope his hamstrings didn't tear, that's for sure.
There's Webster. Makes a huge three.
Big, big, big shot. Opportunity for Perth, 2 for 1. That's Corey just understanding he's wide open, but 2 for 1 opportunity. You're going to get 2 offensive possessions to their 1.
So often the last minute of quarters can play a big factor.
100%. How well do you close it out? I mean, they were down 10 there, and you don't score. Melbourne come down and score. Geez, now you're really looking up a steep mountain. But here they've cut it into single digits. They're stopping a score, and we've got ourselves a ball game.
Melbourne United might have the chance for a 2 for 1 here. Golding trying to go to work. He now gets the matchup he wants. He's going to let it fly from the logo. Another offensive rebound. It's on Blanchfield.
Got to grab.
So a baseline ball for United here. Perth will get the final shot of the quarter. Can they get a stop? Barlow. Illy. This time doesn't settle for the jump, but tried to attack, turnover. And Cotton's going to run the floor, kick it out to Blanchfield. This will be huge.
Yes, we go. Big, big, big momentum play.
And they still might have time for one more. Can Bryce Cotton really get the crowd going? He can't, but it doesn't matter. They were staring at a 12-point deficit with 1:20 to go. They get it back to 4 points, and it sets up for Bryce Cotton in the final quarter. But Melbourne United, they don't lose here at RAC Arena. Can't wait, big fourth quarter. Right up next. Wildcats by 3 points at quarter time. Melbourne United with a big second term, led by 6 at the half. And at three-quarter time, Melbourne United lead by 4 points. It was an important final minute 30 of that third quarter. United were up by 12, but a couple of clutch shots, one in particular from Corey Webster, got them back within a really manageable 4-point margin. And the two superstars, Liam, it's what we came to see. They're going at it head-to-head.
They've both shown up tonight. 22 for Cotton, 18 for Golding. And the percentages from three have maybe dipped away over the course of the game after they knocked down a couple in that first quarter. Who fires up in the fourth and who gets some help?
Well, Greg High was in the Melbourne United huddle at three-quarter time. What did Dean Vickerman have to say?
Yeah, there was a focus on collateral damage. Turnovers just punished them and they led it back into the game. Similar to what John Relly was talking about as Luke Travers finishes nicely, but they need to chase Webster off the line, but they really felt like they let Wildcats back in the game.
Sets up for a beautiful finish here. I said Melbourne United have owned the Perth Wildcats, winning 9 of their last 10 meetings. It's on Bryce Cotton.
Well, that man looms large. Fourth quarters, he leads the league in fourth quarter scoring.
He had 18 in that fourth quarter on Friday night to down the Adelaide 36ers. He's gone head-to-head with Shea Illy all game. As Illy gets that to drop, he wanted the foul. He's got 9 points. 3 assists. That's not Bryce Cotton, that's Corey Webster. He's starting to feel it as well.
He's coming up big. He's got 17 now, 3 of 4 from long range, 7 of 11 overall. Every time he shoots it, it looks like it's going to go down.
It's 3 big games in a row for Corey Webster as Travers try to get the steal. Tucker will try his luck. A couple has bounced out for him. And a chance for Perth to take the lead. It's an important 3 from Blanchfield as well, just before three-quarter time. They go down to Thomas. Webster thought about it and draws the foul.
The thing I like, Creaky, about Tashawn Thomas, he's such a willing passer. Give him the ball, because if he doesn't have something good, he'll give it back up and he'll find you open on the arc.
And that's what he's doing. He's doing a really good job of seeing the double teams come early. Even though he's spinning on most of his moves, it's one of the hardest things is to know when the double's going to come and also where it's going to come from. And it's not always from the passer. Sometimes it's baseline from Perth. They run their doubles from the base. But for Melbourne, it's coming from the passer, sometimes from the middle as well. But he's doing an amazing job of finding these guys and creating good kick-out opportunities for then second attacks or someone like Corey or Bryce to get downhill and kick to the other one and hopefully knock down another big 3.
Drew the foul on that occasion to Sean Thomas. Got the 6 boards to go with his 11 points. And this season, with thanks to MG, we're giving away a brand new MG ZS EV electric car valued at just under $45,000. Enter now, nbl.com.au/winmng. It's Travers again attacking the offensive board. Helps himself to an easy 2.
Great job from Travers. Exactly what he needs to do. Crash the offensive glass, get those extra possessions. And Wildcats have their noses in front.
Peatling. This is an easy one under the bucket. Momentum with the Wildcats.
There's a big play now. You get a score here, there could be a timeout, and you hear this Perth crowd go absolutely crazy. That's not what we want.
Turnover from Thomas that time. Ratan Mays pulls up, lets it fly, and silences the crowd. He's up to 14. 3 of 3 from long range. Just sapped a bit of that energy out of RAC Arena. Here's Webster. Gain 250, can't get that to fall. And Vickerman again implores his team to pick up the pace. Here's Golding, Blanchfield on him. Now he gets Thomas, now he's gonna let it fly. And another offensive board, but this time turned over from Humphreys. And the block on Chris Golding, who's now missed his last 7 3-point attempts. Chris Golding, 2 of 11, he was 2 from 5. at quarter time. 2 from 4, in fact, he was.
Surprised he just rose up there. He had the mismatch with Sean Thomas. Usually takes advantage there, puts it on the deck, has a little bit dance, but he just launched it.
Timeout now, and it's Melbourne United. They lead by 2 points, setting up for a cracking final. 6.5 minutes. So delicately poised, this one. Liam, we know that Golding and Bryce Cotton are going to continue to shoot the ball. Who are the supporting cast that you're looking at for either side that can step up and have a real impact in this final 6.5 minutes?
Well, the two guys are Corey Webster and Xavier Rattan-Mays, no doubt about it. Second leading scorers in the game for their respective teams, and guys that are feeling good right now. Rattan-Mays knocked down that triple in transition. Corey Webster, he's doing a whole bunch of work, mid-range and long range. And he's in a rich vein of form too, a back-to-back 20-plus point scoring game. So those guys loom large. But the key for me is, can the Wildcats finish their defensive possessions on the glass? Playing pretty good D, forcing misses, but they're giving up extra possessions. If they can do that, I think they should be able to close this one out.
So we know the Wildcats have won 4 of their last 6. They're just starting to build nicely into the season. They want to stay in touch with the top 4. Melbourne got the win the other night. Can they get on a roll? They've got 3 games at home after this, Melbourne United. But they've got to get the job done here. It's not going to be an easy task. It's going to be too long in the key.
Well, just one too many passes there, too unselfish. The Wildcats, Luke Travers, really just needed to float that thing up and in.
And that's where you want to see him aggressive. In the last couple of seasons, I think that's a shot he would normally take. It's just a quick little floater, understanding that you have a big man in there, so if you do miss it, chances are your big fella's going to go and get it.
Golding again, can't knock it down.
Well, these offensive rebounds are an absolute killer for the Wildcats.
This time they pulled out a defensive board. Rattan-Mays couldn't knock down the 3. Thomas runs the floor. That's a tough finish. The big man's up to 13.
That's what they can do if they clean the defensive glass. They can get out in transition, get some easy buckets to the rim, find Cotton on the hop.
XRM looks to be aggressive. Did it easily. That was accidental from Corey Webster.
Was it?
Was it? I'm sure it was. He's a gentleman. Corey Webster, he's quick to apologise. So we now tick down to 5.5 minutes. Perth led by 14 points in the first quarter. United led by 12 in the third quarter.
Really like that off that splits action with Bryce Cotton and Corey Webster. That's tough to guard.
Yeah, no matter who you pick, you're going to be at the mercy of the Perth Wildcats. But putting Travers in that position to kind of become a bit of a facilitator right now, playing out of that 4, he just needs to keep pursuing and rebounding, keep dishing and finding guys, setting good screens, making guys chase over, and then rolling hard like Sean Thomas has before. And I think he's going to try and get some easy looks and create some mismatches down low.
And you know it's Bryce Cotton time now as we tick down to 5 minutes. He had the 18 points at half-time, just 4 points since until that bucket. He's ready for a big 5 minutes. Can Melbourne United match him? Can this man match Motors? He called bank.
Oh, wow, that's generous, Joey. Big time shot.
Vickerman wanting Marcus to play good defense, which he did. They get the stop.
Why not run it back? 2 banks in a row.
Almost another turnover for Melbourne United. Take a look at the Amy replay. You give him that, Mitch?
Look, X is a good buddy of mine, but no. But look, he's a shot maker, and sometimes you just create your own luck. He shoots with confidence. It's almost a double team with Travers and Thomas, but it's a good-looking shot in his mind, and you have that much confidence, sometimes good things are just going to happen. So it's good to see.
Well, let's get inside the Perth Wildcats huddle and take a listen to Coach John Riley.
Listen, if it's Chris, chase over. If it's anyone else, we're over then under. Okay? We got to be dialed in and then finish up with a rebound. Whoever wants this game the most is the one that's going to win it right now. Everyone on the glass. All right? Offensively, okay? Let's just stay with reverse. You're the 5, you're the 4, but it doesn't matter who's down the floor. If you can get down the floor and we play through you, great option. Let's get a stop right here. Here we go.
Well, I like that key message in the middle of that timeout from John Riley. Harping on the effort on the defensive glass. Whoever wants this game more is going to get it, was the message. Everybody on the glass. Giving up 13 offensive rebounds to 15 defensive. It's been an issue all night. Can they finish defensive possessions, the Wildcats, to get some rhythm and flow into their offense going the other way?
Well, it's been an issue all season, and Mitch, you touched on it before. People at home are going, is it that hard to not get the rebounds? Is it just effort? Is it more structural? Is it players? Why can't they just get on those defensive boards?
It's always very easy from home. You've got a handful of Doritos. You're sitting there with your bacon deluxe Whopper, and you go, I'd just rebound that as well. As XRM just goes whack.
He's up to 22 now. XRM 5 of 6 from three-point range.
But you're right, mate. It is a combination of everything, but you have to put your hand up and say, I'm just going to go and get it. I'm going to hit my man straight in the chest, and I'm going to go and get this ball. And if everyone does that, as Travers lights one up at a big moment of this game, great to see him knocking down threes. But you've just got to go and do it. You've got to hit your man in the chest, and you've got to know your brother, your teammate, whoever it is in that team alongside you is going to do the same thing. And if you don't do it, and you're the only guy, you only need to be that one guy, and it's the one time you don't do it every single time. They always seem to get it, falls in their hands.
Well, there's another offensive board and the kick out. They've been speaking about it, and they've punished Perth Wildcats again. Greg Hyatt, courtside, you want to touch on Luke Travers?
Yeah, sensational second half game. Scoreless, 2 boards, and now looking at 9 points, 6 boards. That handful of deflections, and that's a stat that the Wildcats do track. So his activity has definitely made a huge impact, but these O boards are killing the Wildcats.
Well, they need to get a stop here, Perth. There's going to be an offensive foul. Marcus Lee doesn't like the call.
That's right.
And Perth have been a notorious team for being so well on the offensive end, on the rebounding end. So it's different now to see them have the tables turned, and it's been a bit of an issue over the last couple of weeks, but over the course of the season, it hasn't really been tidied up too much, and you've got to look around the group and say, I'm not going to let it happen to me, and everyone else has to follow suit.
Here's Travers again, wide open. Can he make back-to-back threes? He can't. And now Melbourne will look to extend the 6 points. Tip down to the final 3 minutes. And it's going to be another offensive foul called, this time against Isaac Humphries.
Jeez, lucky for the Wildcats. That was an easy finish at the rim, about to unfold. The whistle goes Perth's way.
Greg Hyatt, courtside.
You spoke about the O boards, Creaky. I have 9.5 fingers. I shot 22% from the three-point line and can't jump, and that got me a career for 10 years. So, yeah, it was a prideful thing taking O boards, that's for sure.
Mate, I'm still seeing a chiropractor for all of the hits I got in the back, so appreciate that. I'll send you the invoice one day, but yeah, mate, you were relentless going to the glass, and I absolutely hated trying to box you out because you'd run 100 mile an hour straight at my sternum, and I felt it for a few days.
Isaac Humphries, I say hi.
The Amy replay of those 2 offensive fouls. It's Perth on the transition. Travers took on 2 of them, went upstairs, couldn't finish. Heavy hit.
Good attack from Travers. He knew those guys were bearing down on him, and he knew, I got to go hard. 2 hands towards the rim. Wasn't quite able to throw it down. Cotton gave it up. And he braced himself for the contact and took it for the team.
Now the free throws become crucial. They're the #1 free throw team in the competition, the Perth Wildcats, by a fair way. And what about this? Thanks to Hungry Jacks, you can whopper your way to LA. Grab any large burger meal at Hungry Jacks. Enter your receipt code to win 4 tickets, flights, spending money and accommodation to a basketball game in the USA. How good's that? Thanks to Hungry Jacks, and he makes the first, Travers. And the second. 4 points, 2.5 minutes. I've said a number of times tonight, they've won their last 7 here at RAC Arena, Melbourne United. They've won 9 of their last 10. Tucker couldn't finish. They get the stop and the rebound. Travers, what a second half he's playing.
Beautiful pass. Great sprint in transition from Blanchfield, and Travers threads the needle.
He may be leading his team to a come-from-behind victory. As a foul's being called.
I mean, right now, you're beating them with a stick over and over again, just saying, box out. If you just box out, and you're the Perth Wildcats, you're up 20 in this game. 15 offensive rebounds right now. This could get up to another 2 or 3 more by the end of the game the way it's going, but 15 extra possessions, it's really getting out of hand and something they really need to fix as soon as possible.
Misses the first.
I'd love a cheeseburger right now, Liam. I don't know about you. I might go on that red eye to Perth.
The kids are all up, they're all screaming. They don't get it. So is this Bryce time? So they go to Cotton Island. What do they do here? The Perth Wildcats.
You play off Cotton, run him off those actions, get him a look. Webster, mid-range pull-up doesn't go. A lot of pressure on the Wildcats' defense and defensive rebounding right here.
And this is the matchup we want to see. Shea Ely guarding Bryce Cotton down the stretch. If you watch them off the ball when it's Perth offense, you're going to see how much work Shea's putting in at an absolute elite level trying to guard the best in the competition.
He wants Humphries to come. He fires for 3 himself. Shea Ely! Ice in his veins! How good!
Oh, boy. Jeez. Well, there you are talking about his defense against Bryce Cotton, and he just goes whack. Puts a late game, big moment triple in BC's eye.
Nothing but net.
Just cold-blooded Shea Ely. We've shown before, in the 4 games he's played, they've won 3. The 12 he's missed, they've won only 3. And he might be making it 4 from 5 with that shot. 12 points for him, 3 assists. He's done a pretty good job on Bryce Cotton since half-time. And now it's over to the Perth Wildcats. Bryce Cotton's got the 24, Corey Webster 17. Luke Travers, as Greg Hyde just told us, he's had 11 points in this half. 6 boards, 4 assists for the game. Chris Golding's on the 18. Ratan Mays, who's on the bench, leading 22 points.
And that was a really good look for Corey Webster, that previous possession. You say, well, it's a long 2. Is that what we really want? But, he's just so dangerous in those areas of the floor, and he's been shooting at a really high percentage tonight and their previous couple of games. Just didn't knock it in.
And it's one of the rules we talk about is the long 2, the midi, contested. It's one of the lowest, or it is the lowest percentage shot in the game of basketball. But there are some people who are allowed to shoot them. We have Kyle Adnam on our team. He's got the green light, and I think the Perth Wildcats are very happy for someone like Bryce or Corey to take that shot all night long.
Bryce has tried to throw the lob, but Humphries just did enough to get the hand in. And this might be the dagger for Melbourne United if they can find a way to score. Ratan Mays with the feed to Humphries. Now it makes life very difficult for the Wildcats. They're going to need some Cotton magic. They're going to need some Cotton magic.
Well, they're going to need a foul here. They think they're looking at the clock thinking maybe not, but they're 5 points down. Got to foul him. Too much time coming off the clock.
You've got to foul him here. It's a 2-possession game. I don't know what the instructions are there. You can hear John really on the sideline, but as soon as Shayili dribbles that in the back court and XRM gives that up, or even XRM dribbling the ball up, he's had his yips this year a little bit, but you've got to know the scout. You've got to know who is the lesser percentage shooters, but you've also got to know the foul tally as well. Perth have still got one more foul before they then go to the bonus, so that's going to help too.
Huge steal from Travers, and then the defensive play from Illy wasn't enough.
Have to foul here.
Cotton was there.
Wow, Travers. What a second half he's had. Just finding a way to have an impact. Gets into the passing lane, knocks it loose.
It's his third steal.
Great effort from Illy, just to deny that, but Cotton right on the spot. It's a 3-point game. They lost 20, what did they lose? 17 seconds on that previous possession, not fouling initially. And now time very much against them, the Wildcats. 13 to play. They've still got one more foul to give before they get into the bonus. Makes it pretty difficult.
Melbourne United are the third worst team in the competition from the free throw line this season. You spoke about Rattan Mays. He's shooting at just under 46% from the free throw line, so they'll be happy to give him the ball, the Perth Wildcats. Isaac Humphries and Marcus Lee in the 60% range. Rajon Tucker up at 70%. Of course, you don't want to foul Chris Golding. He's the man that shoots over 90% from the free throw line.
And that's 17 seconds. Although people at home may not understand it entirely, but it's one of those things, when you break it down, you say you add 17 seconds to the game clock right now. You go and foul, you get the ball back. Yes, situation's a little bit different, but 17 more seconds right now is 30 seconds. It's a 3-point game, one possession. You have time to go and get a stop and then go back the other way with time on the clock.
Let's get down to Greg Hire, courtside.
Yeah, the last words out of Chris Golding's mouth as soon as they left that timeout: do not play for the foul, all right? Do not play for the foul and let it into the ref's hands.
So Melbourne will want to get the ball to Chris Golding. Good denial from Travers. They almost got the steal. They almost had it and they fouled Shayili.
Wow. Got their hand on it, knocked it loose.
We need a stopwatch. Has anyone got a stopwatch right now?
It was Blanchfield that got the hand in on Rattan Mays.
I think it was more than 5 seconds.
I mean, they didn't take any time off the clock, really, and they've only got one more to give until they're at the foul line, but...
Can they do it a third time here? They stole the inbounds, then they got it, they deflected the inbounds. Can they do it again here? And if not, must foul straight away, send Melbourne to the free throw line.
They put an extra second back on the clock, so it's at 11.4. They want to get it to Golding. They do this time.
You almost just want to invite XRM to the ball and say, hey, mate, look at this. There's a big open space over there. Go run there.
It's the right man to have the ball in his hands. Almost 92% from the free throw line this season, Chris Golding. It's his best year from the free throw line in his career. He's gone cold from long range. Greg Hire, stop booing and come into us.
We're expecting Chris Golding to knock the next one down, but I want to ask Mitch Creek something, a strategy in place. If you were Melbourne United, would you foul purposely like a Deshaun Thomas to not give him a chance for Bryce Cotton to hit a 3?
I would, yes. If it doesn't go into Bryce's hands, you get into the lesser percentage free throw shooters. And yes, I would actually foul that. As it gets over half court, act like you're not going to do anything too crazy, back on defense, and then when it gets to their hands off a high post or a handoff action, go and foul him, put him to the line. Bryce can't make the 3. You put a low percentage shooter there. It's still a 2-possession game right now. I think that's a very smart choice, Greg.
Well, if they can close it out here, Melbourne United, that's going to be
huge for them.
A huge win for their season.
Of course, it's a huge couple of rounds in the NBL. The Indigenous rounds upon us. Start on Friday, 21st of December, and it'll run through Christmas. You can see the incredible designs on all the jerseys. Absolutely wonderful concept. It's going to be a great few weeks celebrating our Indigenous talent in the NBL.
Jerseys are fantastic. One of the really cool things that happened during Indigenous round, and Greg, you can tell us more about it, is that the learning that takes place within the clubs. Every single one of the clubs will have some sessions where they learn a little bit more about the land on which their team resides and the indigenous culture of our country.
Yeah, you're spot on, mate. We had some incredible people come down and give us a little bit of their time while we were kind of going through the presentation. But you're right, just learning about what everything means on the jersey. It's super important.
Oh, Blanchfield!
Oh, no. Wow.
4-point play opportunity. Can you believe it?
So they're asking John, really, do you want me to miss? They got a little lost there, and catch and splash from Todd Blanchfield.
Illy just got in the landing space.
So you've got to make this, I think. I think right now it's only a 2-point game. You make this free throw, it's a 1-point game. You get the ball inbounds to one of their lesser...
Oh, he missed.
Oh, they got the ball back.
A chance to win. You won't do it.
In game 250, Corey Webster.
2-5-0.
He puts them
Let
in front.
him know, Webb.
But there's still time. Can Shea Illy cap it off for United?
Corey Webster, you star.
They have stolen victory, the Perth Wildcats.
Merry Christmas, Perth Wildcats. Corey Webster, 250, mate. You're an absolute legend.
What a way to celebrate. They stole victory from the jaws of defeat. The crowd can't believe it. They're stunned.
What a remarkable finish. The offensive rebound, the kick out. There's his former coach from his New Zealand Breaker days. And Corey Webster drives the dagger into the heart of Melbourne and their fans.
And potentially their season. They had it won, Melbourne. They were 5 points up with 10 seconds to play. And Perth, in front of their home crowd, have found a way to pull it off. First Blanchfield, and then Corey Webster.
Well, they did everything they could to lose that game. The Wildcats giving up offensive rebound after offensive rebound. But they just managed to hang tough enough to give themselves a sniff. And then bang, bang late. Blanchfield and Webster, back-to-back triples. And remarkably, this is the result. Blanchfield kick out, Webster born for the moment. In game 250, wins the game for the Wildcats.
This NBL season, Mitch, it can't get any crazier. We have seen some unbelievable games, some unbelievable finishes. And this one is as good as we've seen. Illy had the chance, he got a good look. And the crowd was stunned. And let's get down to Greg Heyer, who has the Foot Locker player of the game with him, and the match winner, the milestone man, Corey Webster.
Yeah, exactly right. 250 games, Foot Locker player of the game. Absolutely incredible game by yourself. Floor is yours. What does it feel like?
Oh, man, that was amazing. To be honest, I thought I tied it up with that three. I didn't even know for a second. But I'm proud of how we fought through that game. We went up, took the lead, they fought back, and then we dug our heels in. That was a great win for us.
I know mass isn't your strong suit, so we'll ignore that. But talk to me about a win like that and galvanise the group. Maybe you jump-started the season, but what does it mean?
Oh, man, that was a big one for us. We hadn't won against this team before coming into this game. We felt like we owed them one. We felt like we owed them our best punch. It's the little things for us, man. Rebounding, playing defense, helping each other. We've got the offensive firepower. We just need to lock in at the defensive end and rebound, and I think we'll put ourselves in a good position to win games.
You're stepping up in big moments. A couple of weeks ago in New Zealand, a game winner in this. What is it like to be on that stage, taking that last shot?
Oh, man, it's an amazing feeling. I've always shot the ball with confidence. Obviously, you go through ups and downs throughout your career and throughout seasons, but, you know, shooters just stick with it, shoot with confidence every time. I'm just happy that one went down.
And now, lastly, you and Bryce are getting a really formidable punch, all right? Maybe like Rowdy and Mitch Creek. But what is it like to play along the superstar like Bryce Cotton?
Honestly, man, Bryce is one of the best imports to ever play in this league. It's amazing to play with a player like him. Everyone loves playing with great players, especially with a scorer. It makes your job easier, and I hope I'm making his job easier too. And hopefully we'll just get better from here on out.
Congratulations, mate. Heck of a game. Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Corey Webster, the match winner there, boys. Talk us through it, because it's the third straight game now that he's shot 20-plus points.
Just incredible. His relentlessness now in just shooting the ball, finding his spot. Earlier in the season, we were talking about him not being in the groove with Bryce, not being that second kind of tier guy who's now going to be an elite scorer with Bryce Cotton. But as you see tonight, all three levels, big moment plays, milestone game, 250, take a bow, Corey Webster.
It's a pretty formidable 1-2 punch now, isn't it, Liam? That's what they were expecting to see when they got him at the start of the year. It's taken a little bit of time, but now, if it's not Bryce that's going to get you, it's Corey that will.
100%. That's what's happened these last 3 games. All 3 of them wins, and there you see the numbers for Corey Webster. Speaks to the brilliance of Bryce Cotton, though, that he's not the Foot Locker player of the game.
Yes.
When you have 29 points at 60%, 4 boards, 4 assists, and 3 steals. But Corey was a terrific Robin, and in a big moment hit a massive shot and got his team the win.
And that man, Luke Travers, stepped up in the second half. He was scoreless at half-time, finished with 11 points. The 6 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals. Still plenty more to come. Stick with us right after this. Mitch Creek, Liam Santa Maria to wrap up what has been an unbelievable night. Perth Wildcats still victory by 1 point. Well, we've just seen the most amazing finish here at RAC Arena. Melbourne United looked home and hosed. They had the game in their grasp until that three-pointer from Todd Blanchfield. He had the chance for a 4-point play. He missed. He kicked it out to the milestone man, Corey Webster, and in game 250, he sunk the hearts of Melbourne United fans, and they won by a single point, 90-89. Incredible game. Liam Santa Maria, what'd you make of it all?
Well, look at the rebounding count, 43-26. Absolutely monstered on the glass, the Wildcats, and yet they still managed to find a way. The shooting percentage is all pretty similar. They just hit those 2 big shots in those 2 big moments down the stretch, and they did enough to get the win. A remarkable result, Creaky, that really just, we're all still just a little bit in shock.
Crazy. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I really don't. That was a stronghold from Melbourne United for most of the game. Obviously, Perth started really well early on. But then you kind of just felt it kind of shift at the end. The 2 loose passes by XRM at the inbounds at half court, the tip, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if Toddy meant to miss that last one, but I'm going to say yes, he did, and give him the benefit of the doubt, but absolutely incredible finish.
Well, it's not so often Mitch Creek is speechless, so we'll get to Greg Hire, who was there courtside. Greg, have you settled down? Because what an amazing finish that was.
Unbelievable. I'm not sure what we're going with this year. Incredible, not a cupcake league, but I tell you what, script that up, cut it up, put it all over the world, because that was unbelievable. And I mean, Melbourne would be licking their wounds there. I mean, they controlled the game after that first period of the game. And then, geez, Wildcats just fought. And I think towards this, for a trademark win this season, if it's going to galvanise the group, that's the one. And Corey Webster, these last 3 weeks, obviously compounded by a great result tonight, but he's been special, that's for sure.
Greg, do you think Todd missed that free throw on purpose?
He won't admit it, but he will definitely sort of say it is. I think he did. I think you mentioned it, Liam, during the broadcast. He was looking back at JR and looking at it, and he's a bit long, but it was a heads-up play, and they just... it was just special. I mean, I was here, and the crowd went berserk. Even as a past Wildcats player, I looked at it and went, geez, you've got to feel sorry for Melbourne United.
Well, Liam, I threw up whether Bryce Cotton should be in the conversation for MVP. We know we've got this man and Xavier Cooks and Keanu Pinder, but you said if they keep winning, he has to be in the conversation because his numbers are stacking up with some of his MVP years. Again, 29 points tonight. He didn't win the Foot Locker Player of the Game because he's got such high standards, but no doubt he was the barometer, particularly in that first half.
Oh, no doubt about it. You played through Bryce Cotton, and he delivered. He was unbelievable in the first half with those 18 points, but he's just a constant threat. And tonight he was just uber efficient. He had Shea Ili shadowing him all night long, and it wasn't Ili, it was Xavier Rattan-Mays. So he really had no breathing space, but he can still manage to find his spots. 29 points, 60% from the field, and contributed right across the box score. Another special display from Bryce Cotton.
And the beauty of the next 6 weeks, Mitch, is it gets pretty hectic. There's a lot of basketball to be played. So for us that are watching, we're going to enjoy it. But a couple of big games starting Wednesday night, the Cairns Taipans, Brisbane Bullets. And then Thursday night, the 4th showdown, I think in about 24 days, South East play Melbourne United again.
Yeah, obviously a lot of games coming up. The Christmas period's here. We're playing across Christmas and the New Year, which obviously the festive season is great for all teams. Indigenous round coming up. It's exciting. Look at that. There he is. Look at that blonde hair. Jeez, should get it dyed again. But look, it's exciting time for NBL. Oh, don't show the double piping. We can't have that on camera. But it's exciting. A lot of games coming up. A lot of teams are just in that mix. You don't really know who's going to win. You thought Melbourne United had this one in the bag in the last 5 minutes, but then Perth come out and absolutely throw the nail in the coffin with that one. So exciting schedule coming up.
Well, it's going to be an absolute basketball feast. Liam, we're all going to love it. Plenty of basketball to be played. We can't wait. Some cracking games. It's been one hell of an NBL season, and we saw one of the best tonight. The Perth Wildcats came from behind to snatch victory against Melbourne United. They broke a 7-game losing streak against United at home. They'd lost 9 of their past 10. They were the bogey team. They are no longer. The Perth Wildcats continue to climb up the ladder, and maybe, just maybe, it makes it almost too hard for Melbourne United. Thanks for your company tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. It was the Perth Wildcats by 1 point.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.